Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to my channel once again. I've always wanted to do a steak comparison video on prime versus choice steaks, and today I'm going to show you not only how to cook a few thick cut pieces of ribeye, but also go through the difference between choice and prime. So let's dive into it. Alright, so first up, you want to make sure to look for a sturdy, almost dry feeling cut when picking out a good steak. If it has too much give when you press into it, it probably means that it's been oversaturated in water due to prolonged periods of freezing. Nonetheless, once you find your steak, be sure to dry them off with a paper towel as thoroughly as you can at a minimum before seasoning and searing takes place. Time on your hands beforehand. Try to let them dry out in the fridge for a day or two uncovered to reduce the water saturation. Now, since these are both very thick cut ribeye, make sure to season both sides of the steak with a generous amount of salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Then you're going to heat up a large skillet or saucepan on high heat. Add a good amount of vegetable oil into the pan and begin to sear the steaks for about 3 to 4 minutes on both sides. Just be sure to gently move them around every now and again in order for that sizzling oil to caramelize all aspects of the steak. Once the steaks have a really nice dark golden brown color on them, you're going to turn down the heat to low and start adding in the butter, crushed garlic cloves, thyme, and rosemary. Spoon the sizzling aromatic butter over the tops of the steaks for a minute. Then you're going to turn them over and do the same for another minute or so for a perfect medium rare. Now, the total cooking time for these steaks was about 11 to 13 minutes, give or take a few. But you're just going to have to kind of gauge the size of your steaks as you're cooking them. Now, one of the biggest differences between choice and prime is the amount of marbling or fat content in the meat. So I'm very excited to see how these taste and the difference that are between them. After the ribeye are done in the pan, you can set them off to the side on a tray or your cutting board to rest for at least 5 to 10 minutes. This is a very important process in order for the juices to settle back in evenly. Then you're going to slice it up and enjoy a beautiful steak. What's up, guys? All right, so the steaks are done. As you can tell, this is the choice bone-in ribeye. This is the prime ribeye, and they're really pretty. Actually, right now it's kind of interesting. After I sliced it that first time, it has a little bit. The choice has a little bit more marbling than the prime at this moment. But before I cooked them, the prime definitely had a lot more fat marbling in it than the choice did, other than that big old streak. You know, it has the bone in, so it's a little bit more complementary to the piece of meat as opposed to the one that had the bone cut out. But again, they're really good cuts of meat, and I'm gonna dive in and just run through the difference in the taste or the flavors. So let me do it. Wow. Right away you taste a lot of the aromatics and the rich butter flavor and kind of that salt crust on top. It finishes kind of that marbled, almost like prime rib flavor that you would expect from a mid-rare steak like this. Very good. I mean, that's what a prime rib is. It's a big old ribeye. Very easy to eat. And this one, this is the bone-in, almost like a tomahawk, is the choice. And it's a little tiny bit thinner than this other bone out. But it's ridiculous. Ooh, that is, see, that's almost a little too fatty for me, but that's ribeye. Very good, almost a little bit more caramelized than this one because it's a thinner cut, just like maybe by a few millimeters. It actually makes a difference. The choice one, it almost shreds a little bit more. Kind of has a little bit more of a fibrous texture, I guess. So it's really tender, but different mouthfeel. But again, all those same flavors with the rosemary and those aromatics and the butter. It's like roasted, almost brown butter because you roast it so hard. It's been quite some time since I wanted to do just like a steak cooking video. I always love cooking meat, and it's always a kind of a skill test for me as well. Just refresh my memory with, you know, time and temperature, and, you know, getting acquainted with the thickness and different cuts of meat. So it's always fun to cook a really cool piece of meat, and these were delicious. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you guys enjoy what I do. Make sure you check the description box for info about the recipe. I'll put some stuff in there about, you know, the difference between choice and prime, and, you know, there's definitely a price difference there too. So you know, all the equipment and ingredients will be down there as well, so check that out. Leave comments down below for future video requests. What's up, Ozzy dude? And things you want to see on my channel, and I will see you guys next time with another recipe. Later, guys. What are you doing, boy? You smell the meat, huh?